Hello there, my crafty friends. It is Candy here from sweetstamper.com, and I am here with your weekly Teach Me Tuesday. And I'm super excited to be here with you today. I'm going to go over my August Christmas card class, which just released yesterday, and then we are going to get into today's stamping, which is decidedly not Christmas. So, hi Kim, I'm glad you're here with me today. I'm going to see if somebody else is going to join me here live before I launch into everything, and lots of fun things to show you today. We're going to do a fun stamping project. I actually really like to make a scene, not in real life. I don't like to make a scene in that sense, but I do like to make scenes with stamping. And, you know, one of the things I love about stamping is I can end up looking like an artist when in reality, I really can't even draw a decent stick figure. So Stampin' Up! Has amazing artists that create these gorgeous stamps that we use and have so much fun with. And then we get to just play and create and make all kinds of cool things. So, you know what? I think I'm going to go into Christmas card class later. Let me just go ahead and launch. Hey Pam, I'm glad you're here with me. I'm going to actually use my blending brushes today, and I'm going to use some blends, and we're just going to make a nature scene. And you know, this is a card I'm making today that I could send to anybody of any age, man, woman, boy, girl. I have grandchildren who live in Virginia. They do a lot of bird watching and nature hikes, and this would be perfect. Look at these gorgeous stamps. There's actually 4 stamps in here. I'm featuring stylish sketches today. This is one of the free stamp sets you can earn with a $50 order during celebration, which lasts all the way through the end of August. Now, all of the items are while supplies last, and Stampin' Up! Has a lot more control over the stamp sets than some of the other items because we do as a company produce our own stamp sets here in the U.S., but I know that there was a card and envelope option that's already sold out, and we're only in mid-July. But celebration is that time of year, happens twice a year now, and you get to earn free products, exclusive products. This will not be available after celebration with $50 or $100 orders. So this is free with a $50 order. It's a beautiful, beautiful, very heavily detailed nature stamp set. Now, there are no greetings here, so I'm going to bring in Go To Greetings. This has been a real favorite. This is only $24, and this is, again, a cling rubber stamp set, so you could go ahead and put this on your order, totaling up, and then add a few things to $50, and then you're going to get, you know, your stylish sketches for free. So I love this because you have, you know, the most common greetings that you use, plus a hello, and you've got them in 3 different fonts. So there's a lot to love here. Okay, let's get into what we're going to stamp today. I'm going to start with my little, these little ducks are super cute. They're mallard ducks, and I'm going to stamp them in Tuxedo Memento ink. I am going to do this first before I do anything else. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to do my blending brushes first, then we're going to stamp. So I am so glad that Crystal is here with me today, and Kim and Pam already. Thank you very much for sharing my video. That helps me, so I appreciate that. You know, honestly, even if nobody sees it, what helps us on Facebook is it helps us with the Facebook algorithms. I mean, I'd like people to see it, but it's the Facebook algorithms that really are the big deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my blending brushes, and I'm going to start with Mommy Blue. Again, we're going to create a scene, and I'm going to pick up just a little bit of ink, and I'm going to create a sky because I'm using my, I'm going to put my ducks in a little scene here. And this is just going to be really pale, but it serves to have, kind of take away the rawness of the basic white cardstock. You could also do this very easily with very vanilla cardstock, and you just have a little bit of a softer look. But I'm going with basic white, and I am using Balmy Blue. I do think that Balmy Blue, you can use Pool Party, but I think for me, Balmy Blue is like the perfect sky blue color. And you can see where I'm just using a circular motion for the most part. Sometimes I'll go back in and do a little back and forth. So there's my sky, and now I'm going to put a little bit of soft seafoam down at the bottom for kind of my my grassy area, as it were. And I do think that because I wanted to go super pale, soft seafoam is that really ultra pale green, but it does have green color. Definitely takes away from, you know, the rawness of the basic white. So let me just, there's a basic white panel here. I'm working on a card class over here. So let me just show you the difference. So there's basic white, and there's the colors that I've added. So you can see that it's pale, but it is there. So now I'm going to stamp in Tuxedo Black, and I do like to give this a few minutes to dry, which is why I was kind of heading in that direction first. Now let's get our little duckies. Let's get them stamped right here towards the bottom of my little piece of basic white cardstock. And although technically Tuxedo Black ink dries, you know, immediately, that must have just been inked up. You know what? That is really a lot of ink, and I was pressing really hard. You know, I think I'm going to redo this. So let's just get my mini chopper out, and let's just bring in, I believe this is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So let's just, you know, this is real live stamping. This is live TV. You know, we can do do-overs here. You just have to recognize that you're on camera when you're doing them over. But that's okay. You know, this is the way we all stamp, and I probably should have stamped it on my grid paper first, which is what I oftentimes will do. Yeah, these are the same size. Okay, let's go back to our Balmy Blue Sky. Just picking up, and I do like to take my ink and start it on my scrap paper because I don't want like a splodge of color, particularly when you're doing a really soft look like this. But I think, you know, just in general, when you're using your blending brushes, if you just start off to the side, then you make sure that you don't get a blotch of color. Okay, there's my Balmy Blue. Now let's go and try again with soft seafoam. And again, you know, sometimes you've just re-inked a pad, or I probably just pressed too hard. You know, I am a little bit of a heavy-handed stamper, and I know that about myself, but still, you know, I try to go a little bit lighter, but yeah, some of us are mashers. Okay, now I am going to, because I'm a little bit leery now here, let's get some of that excess ink off of there. Let's stamp this here and just see. If I just do a regular press, yeah. See, I think more than anything, I think I was just pressing really hard. Okay, so let's ink up our little mallard ducks, and let's press them here and not press too hard. Ah, that's much better. Now let me just show you. See the first one and see the second one. My male still has a pretty dark head, but this is just too heavy. So double reason, I need to leave that open for my decision to let that dry just a wee bit. And then I'm going to put just a note. You know, maybe I think I did just re-ink this stamp set. Just a note. Hey, Claudia, I'm glad you're joining me today. Oh, I do like the way that's come out. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside for just a minute, and because we're going to color these ducks. But in the meantime, I'm going to put a little strip behind here, and I'm going to bring in this little cluster of figs, and I'm just going to stamp this tone-on-tone crumb cake ink on I think it's a 1.5 inch strip of crumb cake cardstock, and that's just going to give me a little bit of interest. And I think I oftentimes will alternate this back and forth just to give a little bit of interest and to keep it from looking too kind of matchy. Okay. So that is going to look really nice, and let me just show you where we're going to go, and you can help me make a decision, because I'm going to mat this now, and I realize I don't have the colors on here yet, but I'm either going to put this on a balmy blue base. I like that, really brings in the blue sky, or I'm going to put it on a soft seafoam base, which I don't know, I almost like better. I think it almost brings out the blue even more. So I'm definitely open to suggestions on that. And in the meantime, I'm going to bring in my blends and do a little bit of coloring on my ducks. Now, these mallard ducks, there's a male and a female here, obviously, and I am going to use my light crumb cake here. Actually, I think I'm using the dark, and I meant to use the light, so I will go. I tell you, I can't walk and chew gum, let alone talk and stamp. Okay, now I'm going to use, obviously, the fine tips here, because these are small spaces and I don't want them to get too, my brush, I think I would go way outside the lines. So let's just bring, actually, I think this dark is actually going to be a little bit better, because, I have this ink behind here, and so it's going to make them a little bit darker than they would have been otherwise because of the ink behind there, but that's okay. Let's just bring this up a little bit, and let's try a little bit of smoky slate and bring this in here. And the female duck, she's just not nearly as colorful as our male, and we're going to give him a lot of color here in a few minutes. Let's just bring a little bit of this smoky slate in with the crumb cake, and let's give her a nice yellow beak, and this is Daffodil Delight. And again, I'm putting, I've already done some coloring behind here, so you can see where she just has that kind of that soft, dullish look, which is actually what I was wanting. But I think I am going to bring in a little bit of soft suede right here along the edges. Oh yeah, that's going to bring a little bit more definition. And, your blends, they do blend beautifully, and they just make easy work out of shading for us. So I'm going to come back here with this smoky crumb cake and just blend out these colors so that I don't have any, like dark blotches. I know that's not a word, but that's kind of the word that I'm using anyway. Okay, now let me just bring this down a little bit more. There we go. Now let's do our boy. He is going to have more color, and so let's start with giving him, this is dark soft suede, which is what I'm going to do right around here and right around here. Bring that right up there, and let's just bring his beak in while we're thinking about it, and his little feet. And then I'm going to go ahead and do his head because I think it's going to help me put the rest of his body together. This is Bermuda Bay. And that is the light Bermuda Bay, and it's really, really perfect for these mallard ducks. And I think I'm going to bring the dark Bermuda Bay down into his neck, and hopefully that's going to give me, you know, I probably should have, now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have done the shading after I did the ducks so I wouldn't have shaded the ducks, but that's okay. I think it's going to be all right. Now let's do a little bit of the light soft suede right along here and really get the back of that duck nice and dark. And then we're going to do his breast in the darker smoky slate, so that he has a lot more color than his little lady friend over here. Now they're coming together. Now I'm going to come back in with the light. I usually like to take the lightest color I'm using and just use it to blend everything out. And that's going to keep any of the lines from being too harsh. And that's going to kind of bring this smoky slate and soft suede in together so that they blend out really, really nicely. I'm pretty happy with that. What do we think? What are we thinking? What are we thinking? Like I said, I have some grandkids that would be really, really happy with this. They have become quite the birders. You know, when my kids were small, I used to take them on my nature walks, and now my daughter is doing the same thing with her kids, which makes my heart very happy. I think I'm actually going to put a little bit of the darker smoky slate right here on her neck, just to give her a little bit more definition. And you can see where this is a very, very gender neutral card. You know, you could, again, this is for a boy or a girl, a man or a woman. You could give this to anybody. You know, you could pump it up with an embossing folder here, but honestly, this is just classic stamping. This is just stamp, ink, and paper. There's nothing else here. I am going to bring in a little bit of this soft suede. I think we need a little bit more on our lady here. She's looking a little bit tame. So let's just add, and that's the other thing is when you're doing your blends, you know, sometimes you can just need to add another layer of color. And so I've added more. Again, I'm going to come back with my light crumb cake and just blend it so that I don't have any, you know, dark lines. Because, you know, feathers, they don't just like have a strong line of demarcation. They just kind of blend out. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy where that is right now. Okay, oh, you know what I could do? Ooh, let's get I totally forgot about I could use the color lifter. So let's use a little bit of the color lifter right here. Whoa! Whoa! Way more than I anticipated. Haha! That is like running on me. Okay, let me get a tissue. That is going to make a mess. Like I said, live TV. Sometimes these things happen. Wow. That was like a big splodge. Let's see what I can do to make that better. Wow. I don't know why that did that. Sorry if I bumped the camera. Okay. Now I've got a little bit of this. I'm a little leery now. I wanted to lighten that little white line. See if I can get it a little bit lighter. Now, what do we think? Does he look pretty cute now? That kind of made a big line of demarcation there, which is what I didn't want. Yeah, adding the extra layer, I think, definitely helped. Oh, Lori, thank you that I gave them a personality. Now let's see if I can fix my boo-boo. You know, that really unfortunate. These things happen sometimes. Let's see if I can bring it. You know, I think that once I put it all on here, I don't think, and it's kind of wet, I don't think you'll really notice it. So let me just bring a little bit more of this dark crumb cake in here, because the light is just not doing it there. And it's just where that, where my color lifter kind of exploded on me. Okay, let's go ahead and put this down. And this is why you always have something underneath you when you're using your blends markers, because they do bleed through. They are alcohol-based markers, and they will bleed right through. Now, if you have colored cardstock underneath you, that is a good thing. Yeah, I think this is really, I'm really happy with these guys. And it just kind of shows you as well, you know, Stampin' Up! Has done such beautiful artwork here. I don't need a lot of, you know, I don't need a lot of embellishment or anything. It's just simple nature. And I'm going to put this about 2/3 of the way down on my card. And again, this is soft seafoam, which is what I used for the ground. And I do like that better than the blue. The blue is going to be a little bit too much. And I am going to put, this is what's handy, so I'm, well, you know what, let me grab some dimensionals. Put a few dimensionals behind this and give it just a little bit of lift. And then I might add a little embellishment. I've got a couple of ideas, so we'll see what we come up with. So Crystal's here, and I know she has 4 sons. I have 2 sons. You know, I think this is a good card for, like I said, a boy or a girl, a man or a woman. You know, my kids in Virginia, they're all in elementary and middle school. But even my grandson would love this. They're big nature lovers. So there we go. Just a really simple nature card made with the free with purchase stylish sketches. Let me pull this out of the way. It's a little bit easier to see. And then I wanted to consider, I have a couple of ideas if I wanted to add a few little embellishments here. So I think these are the rustic metallic, and I think they would look really good. I could bring in this blue, but I think it's going to be too much color. I think if I'm going to do anything, it's going to be something really neutral. So yeah, Stella, it is very simple, and this is for anybody. You could also do this with watercolor pencils, but you wouldn't have the vibrancy of color, I don't think. Although I may try to do another version with watercolor pencils. So I think these would also look really good, but I think I'm gonna do, these are the rustic metallic. These are new in our annual catalog. And I think, can I grab it? Doesn't wanna grab. Let's see if I can just lift that and maybe just, yeah, maybe I'm going to go over here. Give it a little bit of, just a little bit of an accent. What do we think? Just a little something, something. Just a note. Super simple, super sweet, very, you know, a card that would be appropriate for just about anybody at any time. Let me move this just a wee bit. Yeah, I probably should just leave it alone. Okay, that is it for today. Making a scene. with stylish sketches. And we did a little bit of blending brushes. We did a little bit of Stampin' Blends and made a card that would be, I think it just celebrates what we love about handmade cards. And that is something that's simple. It's something that I could use for just about anybody. And of course, you could do a different greeting, but with it just a note, I could send it to just about anybody. And all because we have this gorgeous, gorgeous artwork in stylish sketches. So make sure that you put together a $50 order so you can earn stylish sketches for free. And I will put a little supply list together so that if you're interested in reproducing something like this, you'll know the colors. And now, I can see that now that the my color lifter is beginning to dry here, you really don't notice it. So I will get a photo together for you and a supply list, and I sure thank you for being here today. Remember, male happy birthday card. You're right, Lori, this would be fabulous for the guys. I mean, hunters obviously would love this, but any guy, most of the guys are happy to have something with nature. But again, I'd be my grandson, who's 10, would love this. But my sons, who are, in their 30s, I could send this to equally well. I have some older senior friends, male and female, could send this to. I think there's a lot to love here. So super simple and just celebrating the nature, the beauty of nature. I will be here again Thursday at 4 p.m. Central Time. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching the replay, I'd love for you to just comment replay. And if you're watching on YouTube, I would love for you to give me a thumbs up and follow my channel. That's it for today. Thank you so much for being here. Take care and God bless.